6 dislikes on my 500 sub announcement video? Well, clearly we're going to be joined by some haters this evening, but hey, if you're buying, I'm selling. So allow me to welcome you to my 500 subscriber Q&A answer video. Sorry it's taken so long to get this up. Unfortunately, that's down to my sheer natural laziness and round the clock drunkenness. But we're going to kick things off straight away with a long-term subscriber, and that's SP23 Hagbard5, and he has this to say. Congrats, smiley face. I'm sure you'll make it past the 1000 someday. Unfortunately, it feels like I'm going to get my free bus pass before I see any plaques off of YouTube. But thanks for your comment, man, much appreciated. And thanks again for hanging around as long as you have. You're either someone who really likes my content, or I don't know, you just have some sort of really high pain threshold or something. But seriously, man, thank you for all the support. And we go from one long-time subscriber to another friend of this channel, a man who goes by the name of Dead Thumbs Gamer, and this is what he has to say. Congrats, my dude. Scratching and clawed your way to 500. That's what's up. You get me, fam? And he asks, do you think your lack of on-cam appearances have aided or impeded your rise to YouTube retro gaming superstardom? If I'm perfectly honest with you, Dead Thumbs, I really don't think it makes a blind bit of difference whether or not you actually appear in your videos or not. Take my second channel, Video Holocaust, as a good example. On that channel, I appear in virtually every single video, and that channel is dead, fam. It's done. Stick a fork in it. It is over. That channel has been a flop. And it's a real shame as well, because that channel was based on one of my first true loves, action films, particularly martial arts movies. And I don't know, maybe over the coming weeks I might look to try and kickstart it again, upload some more content there, I don't know. But if there's one thing I do know, and that is, if the channel icon of my next contributor is anything to go by, then me and him might have quite a lot in common. He's Paul Davies, and this is what he has to ask me. Cool, congrats. Funny to see you in the flesh. I always thought you were Vaz Blackwood doing sneaky retro videos. You sound just like him. Keep up the good work, dude. I like that. Vaz Blackwood. I can honestly say that's the first time I've ever heard that. Don't you mean Big Shaq? Man's not hot. Man's definitely not hot on YouTube right now. But Lock, Stock is one of my all-time favourite films, so you know I know who Rory Breaker is. I'll tell you what, I'm a big fan of his cousin as well, you know, Richard Blackwood. I actually went to see him perform at the Shepherd's Bush Empire a couple of years back, and the man killed it. He's one of this country's most underrated comedians. But Vaz Blackwood, actually, interesting story about me and Vaz Blackwood would be, I may just have been an uncredited extra in a movie he was in called Baby Mother. They shot it in and around Harlesden in northwest London, and I was working as a postman there at the time. I'm from not far from there, I'm from Stonebridge, and I remember loitering around when I was supposed to be working, watching them shooting, and thinking to myself, yeah man, soon, one day, that's gonna be me in the movies, with my name up in lights, yeah man. If any of you think I'm an arrogant prick now, man, you should have seen me back then. What? Actually, I might have been an uncredited extra in an episode of a British children's TV show called Renford Rejects. I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen that. I never watched it myself, but my brother used to watch it a lot. But yeah, it was somewhere around Willesden. I was sat in a Royal Mail van in the passenger seat. The driver had gone off to do something. And I see these guys over to my left. They're out there filming. I'm thinking, oh, hey, what's going on over here? And next thing I know, one of these guys comes up to me and says, can you move the van? I had the keys on me. He says, oh, can you move the van? I'm like, nah, mate. Driver took the keys with him. So he goes, oh, back off, and they have a little talk. Anyway, they just decided to film there. So while they're filming there, I'm out the window like this, yamming my pickled onion monster munch, watching them, thinking to myself, yeah, man. Perform for my entertainment. You motherfuckers. Oh man, apologies there for the bad language. I've been in a funny mood recently. And you know what? We've had snow like you wouldn't believe. Jack Frost has been vexed recently. And today, I'm being blinded by the sunlight. Where's my hat? So anyway, while I deal with that, we're going to look at my next question, which comes courtesy of Emerald Game Cave, an Irish expat who's living in Australia, I think it is right now. He recently uploaded a video in which he was showing off his games room, and it was very, very entertaining. Now, I don't know if this man has the luck of the Irish, but he's definitely got the gift of the gab. So let's see what he has to say. Congrats, dude. My question would be, what are your top 5 favourite horror games? Now, I mentioned that action movies, particularly martial art films, are my first love. Well, horror movies, they're my bit on the side. I love them. And I'm not just talking about your Nightmare on Elm Streets, your Friday the 13th and your Halloweens. I'm talking about movies like Peter Jackson's Brain Dead. I'm talking about movies like Necromantic. I'm talking about the Japanese film that inspired the Saw movies, Evil Dead Trap, and all them trashy Italian zombie and cannibal flicks. I love horror movies. And when it comes to horror video games, my top 5 in no particular order. Well, you got to start with the big hitters, I suppose. So let me just come out and say Silent Hill. Now, the first Silent Hill game was a monumental release, a phenomenal game. It looks a bit twee now with its jaggedy graphics, but that game still holds up. Silent Hill 2, best game in the series by far. Although that being said, Silent Hill 3 is a better game than most people actually give it credit for. Alright, so the main heroine looks like some sort of freaking malnourished junkie you'd expect to see selling the big issue. But put that aside, get that out of your mind, because Silent Hill 3 is actually decent. It's from part 4 onwards that the series would really go downhill. What else? Resident Evil, obviously. Now, the first Resident Evil, everyone knows that. It had wonky controls, it had terrible combat, it had laughable voice acting, but bloody hell, we took that game to our hearts back in the day. The sequels, well, I was obsessed with Resi 2. Didn't care much for Resi 3, although the game itself was not bad. It's just that there was so many Resident Evil games around at that time. And we had Resident Evil Dead Aim, you had Outbreak, you had so many others. And I remember Capcom really talking about all the changes they wanted to make in Resi 4. And to me, it just sounded like desperation talking. I think the game was originally supposed to be GameCube exclusive, but I ended up playing it on the PS2, so obviously that didn't last very long. It's been on the Wii, but Resi 4, best game of its era, in my opinion. Definitely the best game on the GameCube. Easily the best game on the GameCube. What's that? That's 2. So let me think. Let's get to some of the games you ain't never heard of. Forbidden Siren. That game, when that came out, many people slept on that game. Many people slept on that game. I didn't. I picked that game up. Fantastic game. Full of menace and dread and terror and inevitability that things are just not going to work in the way you want it to. Oh, that game is fantastic. It rises above your usual sort of horror game wannabes with its use of what was called sight jacking, where you could look through the eyes of your assailants. Basically just like CCTV cameras. Remember, stealth games were very popular at that time. But yeah, the sequels kind of went a bit off kilter. Not so hot, but the first one, Forbidden Siren, excellent game. What else? Project Zero. Gotta mention Project Zero. Great game series. Now, I've only actually played the first 3 games in the series because the 4th was on the Wii and I don't think it ever got an English translation. It might have been fan translated. I'll have to look into that. There was another game in the series that came out on the Wii U, but I don't have a Wii U, so that was that. I think there's a 3DS title in there somewhere, but them first 3 games on the PS2, and I think the first 2 were on the Xbox as well. Project Zero, known as Zero in Japan and known as Fatal Frame in America. Those games are freaking excellent. How many is that? Alright, that's 4 games. So for my last pick, well, there's a few I could choose from. Let me think. There's one that you probably never heard of, and that's Kuon. That came to us by the blokes from Software, who did Dark Souls and Bloodborne, and that was a very eerie, Japanesey style game. I remember enjoying that back in the day. All but forgotten game, The Suffering, that was an excellent game. But for my last pick, I'm going to go for a game that I've been playing obsessively recently, and that's Corpse Party on the PSP. I'm going to see if I can get some little bit of game footage up here so you can see what I'm talking about. This game is magnificent. This game has held my interest like you would not believe. It's pushed all my buttons. It's based on, it's actually a remake of an old NEC PC 98 game from like way back, like 96 or 97 or something. The PSP release came out I think 2011. Only available on digital download in the West, unfortunately, but got probably 10 on the PSP, you know what I'm saying. There's a couple of other remakes. I think they did another remake with added feature for the 3DS. There is a sequel knocking about, and there's a few games that haven't come out of Japan. But this is a massive franchise in Japan. It is really big. I've been checking out some of the anime recently. It's excellent, top notch. I love my anime. You probably see by the backgrounds I'm using for the comments. And there's a couple of live action films I've been meaning to check out based on the game as well. So if you haven't tried it yet, if you've never heard of it, Corpse Party PSP, excellent game, brilliant horror game. And definitely one worth checking out. I know what thoughts are running through your head right now. You're probably thinking to yourselves, did this man swallow the Blarney Stone or something, the way he can just talk? Well, we got no time to pause, because we're looking at a comment that's coming to us from a man who's been killing it of late with his recent uploads, and that's Dimmy V Gaming. And he says, an ego the size of a pregnant Zeppelin? Man, you are killing me. You see, this man gets it. This man gets it. It's called humour. It's called banter. It's called having a laugh. Now me, I ain't no comedian. But if you've ever watched any of my videos before, you'll know that I have a turn of phrase, I have a certain way with words, and I try to use that when I show off games that I like, that maybe you've never played, in such a way that hopefully you'll want to check these games out yourself. My one and only goal here on YouTube is to entertain. And if I can sprinkle in a few gags here and there, bring a smile to someone's face, then all the time and effort spent making these videos, in my opinion, will be worthwhile. Yeah, just had to make a quick cut there and edit out the part where I describe people who leave dislikes and unsubscribe because of jokes as waste mans, because I'm on my best behaviour today. I'm on my pillar of the YouTube retro gaming community ting. So I'm going to answer one more question before splitting this video into two parts, and it comes to us from Beeps73, and he says, you have one of the coolest voices on YouTube. You should be on Love Island or something. Great wit and humour. It's funny you should mention my voice, because everyone who knows me, and I mean everyone who knows me, who checks out my videos, they always say the exact same thing to me. Every single time. They always say to me, you sound so posh in your videos. One guy I know, checked out, he didn't even believe that was me, you know. He was saying, that don't sound nothing like you. In fact, it got to such a point where I uploaded a video about a year, 18 months ago. What was it called? I can't even remember the title of it now, but in the video I tried to put on a posh accent, and I tried to talk all posh and high and mighty and all this. What was it? It was called Video Game Box Art Special, Nintendo NES Edition. And all I did was just look at artwork, but I looked at it in a really posh way. And I'll tell you what, you're talking about wit and humour. That is the only video I've ever made on this channel in which it was deliberately designed to be a comedy. The whole video is just pure jokes, and whether or not any of the jokes actually hit the mark, one guy left a comment on that video, I'll never forget it. He said it was the best, what was it, the best video he'd ever seen on YouTube. So yeah, that made my day. The video doesn't really have that much views, but I was planning to do a follow-up. In fact, I was in the process of making a follow-up video to that, but I lost it because of damaged external hard drive. And this is me right now in the process of trying to salvage it. But anyway, I'm going to split this video in two, because this is going to take all day, and I'm starting to lose the sunlight here right now. So part two hopefully will be up tomorrow or the day after. I'm going to try and get onto it right now. But yeah, what I've got recorded right now will go up part one. You'll be seeing part two very, very soon. So look out for it. So my name's Gray. This is Consoletronix signing out from part one of my 500 subscribers Q&A answer video. I'll see you in part two. Peace.